Welcome, team, to episode 8 of the Keep Going podcast, Athletes Shine a Light on Mental Health. I'm here with my co-host, Pat. Pat, how you doing, man?
I'm blessed, man. Just been watching some football all day. I think I've had 6 slices of cheese pizza. It's all about the balance on
Sunday fun day. Sunday fun day.
Hey, no beverages, just a couple slices of pizza. And Adam's on the couch with some Jenny's ice cream. So it's all about the balance.
Well, we know people don't want to hear from him anymore, so we'll keep him off. No.
Hey, Adam Valley, if you haven't checked out that episode yet, he's my brother. He's a great dude. And Luke, how about you, man? How's your Sunday?
Yeah, it was good. Just been doing some work, getting ready for the week coming up. Did a little bit of reading earlier, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, it was good. Kind of hectic, kind of chill. I don't know. In between.
Well, I'll tell you this. You better bring back the blue light glasses every week, man. I got a feeling it's going to be a fan favorite on YouTube this week.
Yeah, I got that. It's kind of weird looking at it in the camera, but it's not that bad. But anyway, moving on. We appreciate Brandon Gossett last week. Dude, some gems in that episode.
Wow. Hey, the cold shower, it got me to a point where I couldn't feel my body. It was fantastic. It's something that I'm going to continue to do. We had a lot of good shout outs. How'd it go for you, Luke?
The cold shower scared me. I'm not going to lie. I stepped in, let it hit me for 30 seconds, and I just got out. I was done.
Well, regardless, I thought it was a great episode. Brandon shined a light on mental health and helped a lot of people last week. So, Coach Goss, I've been following the boys over at that long JUCO name. Hope you guys are doing well. So
yeah, KCK. Yeah, that's it. That's it. The Kansas side, not the Missouri side.
And speaking of social media, we could not be more blessed. I mean, 1,000+ followers for a podcast that is on its 8th episode. Thank you so much for the support, and shout out to Coach Gossett and all the rest of our guest networks. We're just two former athletes trying to help out and trying to shine the light. So, Luke, you want to let them know a little bit more about that?
Yeah, for sure. We're not psychiatrists. We're not psychologists. I know a couple of them, and hey, they're a lot smarter than us. But we're just a couple guys trying to help out some former athletes and some current athletes, just with some words of wisdom and words from our own experience. So, moving off of that, let's talk about our weekly self-help segment, Pat. What'd you do this week to help yourself?
Yeah, believe it or not, guys, it was not the pizza. I wish that was it was not that. So actually this morning, Sunday morning, for the first time in a couple months, I volunteered at Special Olympics basketball in the Chicagoland area. They had their annual skills competition at Evergreen Park, and I did awards and some sign-up stuff. It was something that filled my cup, and it's something that I try to do once a month. So we'll throw some stuff in the show notes. Special Olympics, it's in every area, guys. Check it out. It's fantastic. But to help my mental health, they help me as much as I hope to help them. So how about you, Luke?
Dude, that's awesome. I didn't know you did that today. So I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad you got out and helped the community and helped the special needs community out as well. For me, I felt like a massive life change in 1 week. I went no electronics after 8:30, which feels funny to say, but it helped me kind of decompress before bed. It's helped me actually get started reading again. For the longest time, I thought I couldn't read anymore. I don't know. So I wanted to commit to it. And so I put a timer on 8:30, phone goes off. I make sure the alarm is set for the next day. And I could be up till 9:30 or 10, doesn't matter, but I'm at least off the electronics,
Luke, I'm so proud of you, man. And in our world, in the athlete world, the mental health world, it's called habit stacking, man. Okay. All of a sudden, you cut out social media, you start reading, you start feeling better. It leads to other things. And we were talking in the prelude that you're back in the gym, man. So plus the cold shower thing, pass, fail, indifferent. I don't care.
Yeah.
Awesome. And speaking of some folks that are doing a great job, we do have Stony Brook Softball with us today. So, ladies, if you wouldn't mind jumping on camera, we're excited to have you guys.
Can we say Wolfpack? Go Wolfpack.
Go Wolfpack.
Go Wolfpack.
Wolf stuff, that could be a separate episode. So let's just stick with what we know. All right, girls, we do this every week. First off, we're happy to have you. Second off, what helped this week? We'll start with Shauna, and then we'll go Ashton, then we'll go Jules. So, Shauna, what did you do this week that helped you?
First off, Pat and Luke, thanks for having us on for this episode. We're delighted.
Yeah, for sure. Happy to have you.
So this week, so there hasn't been much action on campus. We're here early practicing at Stony Brook. So the dining halls are not open. So I decided yesterday to grab a few friends, and we made a homemade meal. So instead of like our microwaved, like, mac and cheese and stuff, we decided to make drunken noodles yesterday using
That's huge.
on campus. So that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
Oh,
Hey, that's awesome.
Similar to what Luke has been doing, I realized that I can read too.
Yeah.
I've actually been reading a book for a while that's way thicker than what I thought I'd originally go for. But, I like the challenge, and I realized that it's given me a lot of more time for myself, and I've appreciated that a lot more. And I've also been kind of doing a little bit of like arts and crafts stuff on the side. So anything to get away from like softball or like academics, and it's good. It's been good.
We're 2 for 2. Self-care check for Shauna. Self-care check for how about you?
Yeah, we've been kind of slammed with softball recently, but I think something that's really been helping me out is really getting into a good nightly routine. I find joy in, again, like what Luke was saying, turning my phone off, getting a nice, either make it a face mask or reading a book, something, just getting into a nice routine to go to bed to make myself refreshed for the next day.
Love that. Love that.
Unreal.
All checked from the Stony Brook Softball ladies. So appreciate you guys. And Luke, I hate to say it for the 7 straight episode. You've never met these girls before. First impression, feeling about them.
No. Hey, great group of girls. We were chatting beforehand about, doing the doubles before actual season gets started here, and they're in the grind of classes and practice right after class, and then games right after class, and then travel, and then you're back home at 3 a.m. So, these girls are ready for it. They look like warriors right here.
I couldn't agree more. Go ahead.
No, we're hitting a new season. We just entered the CAA. Which is the reason that we're starting practice a bit early, since our competition is going to be pretty stiff this year. We want to be sure that we're nice and prepared for the season. So far, our pitching staff looks great. Infield, outfield doing really well. So we're really excited. T-minus 19 days till we're out on the field.
Got the countdown going. Love it.
Oh, yes.
I love it. I love that. And like I swear, a Rich Jurgen quote every episode. It's leaving no doubt in your preparation. And from what I'm hearing from an outside perspective, it seems that way. Let's back it up a little bit. I know all three of you guys have played now at the highest level, NCAA Division I softball. Safe to say, Luke, we never did that.
Nope.
So just for myself, for Luke and our listeners, I don't care who starts. Tell me about early stuff. Tell me about early year softball, when you guys decided, this is a goal, this is a dream, I'm going to chase it. So walk me through early year stuff, and whoever wants to start, go ahead.
Sure. I don't know. I was kind of late to the party in terms of wanting to go to college to play softball. I only joined like a club team like at the age of 14. So compared to other teammates that I've had, I was a late bloomer in that category. But I knew I wanted that kind of challenge, and Stony Brook being the STEM school that it is, I knew it would give me that academic challenge. But I knew I'd be surrounded by players here who would elevate my game to where I knew I could play at. And I still say, I think it was one of the best decisions I ever made to play Division I softball and to also get the degree that I'm going to get this May. So anyone else?
Oh, I didn't know you're senior. Okay, sweet.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm a granny on the team.
Yeah, well,
For me, I have the best parents in the world that put me through literally every sport you could imagine to try and see which one that fit right in my circle. And I fell in love with softball and basketball, but by the time I got to like middle school, I had to make a decision. And softball won, clearly. Like Shauna said, I've gone through many travel teams. I played for Rock Valley College. It was a nationally ranked JUCO, still is. They just turned to Division II actually. And I got the great opportunity to play after COVID. And we won our 7th national championship. So it was something to be, very thankful to be a part of that. And but for some reason, you know, that just wasn't enough for me. I wanted to keep going in that aspect. And the little girl, you know, she's like, I want to play Division I softball, so I'm going to keep striving for it. And Stony Brook found me, and yeah, like I've been grateful for the opportunity that I've been given and to meet these lovely ladies.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Must be
Yeah.
nice.
Say that again, Pat.
Oh, go ahead, Jules. I said Luke.
Yeah. I don't know what that's like. Nobody found me D3 when I was sitting on the bench. That was weird. I don't know.
We must have been hiding.
I don't get it. Yeah.
But for me, kind of opposite of Shauna. I mean, I grew up with an older brother, so as you can imagine, we were always playing wiffle ball, baseball, hockey, lacrosse, anything you imagine. We were always in the front yard, backyard playing it. And so through that, I remember I would always play wiffle ball with my brother, and yes, he would always strike me out. But ever since then, I always had such a passion to play softball. And so I started very young, probably from the age of like 6 or 7, and I started playing. And then I was lucky enough to grow up in a town where softball and baseball was actually very, very big. So I just remember when I was young, and I would always go to these pitching clinics at my elementary school, and they would have all these older girls, seniors or juniors in high school, going on to play their collegiate sports and teach me how to do like the little tiny things. And from that point, I was always like, I want to be that girl. I want to be that person. And so since then, yeah, it's always been a passion of mine. And I was lucky enough for my parents to bring me to these great camps to get support from them and everything like that. And now I'm here.
Luke, I just want to, just for our listeners, you notice these ladies before we even talked about softball, you hear things like academics, family, friends.
I was thinking about the same thing.
Wow. For our listeners, and I say it every week, run that back. Like that's what matters at the end of the day. You know, playing your sport for 4 years is fantastic, but like us, it ends, right? So I think that's huge. And I appreciate it. And guys, we didn't tell them to say that. They all just ran it through. That was awesome.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it's just like, when you look at the way sports are structured in America now with the club system, it takes such a dedication from parents and such a dedication from families or a family friend to get you to those kind of events. And it really builds a strong community. So it's good to know that athletes have that to fall back on.
Yeah, the sport man, but the relationships won't. You know,
yeah, 100%.
Lasting, like these are the people that are going to be in your wedding, you know. Yeah, so it's very blessed friend group that you make in every single situation and organization that you're put in. You know, you have a great support group behind you, not only on the field, but your family and friends back home that got you to that point.
100%. Yeah. And you know, nobody's mentioned that you got to play D1 for the swag too. You guys are swagged out with Stony Brook, and you know.
It's important to mention too, there's a league beyond college, but there's such a few and select amount of players that have the kind of talent to make it to that level. So a lot of the times you'll see women softball players, especially at the D1 level, need to focus on their academics and the things that they enjoy beyond sport. And that's especially what we focus on here is, are you setting yourself up career-wise for the path that you know that you want to lead beyond the sport, you know, once you hang those cleats up.
That's fantastic stuff. No, I appreciate you sharing that. And it's not only the next 4 years, it's the next 40 years. That's the way I look at it. And that's incredible stuff. No, I love it. And I guess we could talk sunshine and rainbows all day long. Like, these are great stories. You guys were able to be standout junior high school athletes. You go on and play Division I in college. Let's talk about last year. We've done our research. The KG boys were pretty good with Google and Wikipedia, as we try our best. But last year was tough for you guys. You go into a season where you're expected to compete for a conference championship, and you find out a couple months before, or however long before, that you guys aren't eligible to join the playoffs last year. Tell me about that and what you guys did as a team to rally around each other and push forward.
I mean, it was tough. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it at all. We were all very upset and mad, angry. We didn't even know who to be angry at, but we all I think we all took that sadness and we all grouped together in a sense, and we were all able to cope with each other. And through that, we practiced harder, stronger. We were more verbal. And I think that truthfully helped us a lot, even though there wasn't technically like an end goal or a ring that we could get in the future. I think we kind of all, in a sense, in my opinion, at least, played for the sport and played for the passion we have for just playing, not for achieving something at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we wanted to make a statement, we put little, we actually took little pieces of tape and wrote "Let us play" and wrapped it around our visors. So we kept that with us every single time we were out, like on the field practicing and in the game, so everyone else could see that we're fighting for something greater than this, stupid bylaw rules that are, controlling our outcome of something that we had no control over. And it's very unfair, but we played within the circumstances that we're given, and we played for each other at the end of it.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great point. Because at the end of the day, we couldn't really rely on that championship anymore to play for. We had to rely on each other. So we ended up playing for each other. And in turn, we wanted to give our seniors who were graduating that year the very best fifth year or senior year that we could give them, and that became the focus, and it was hard because at the end, I feel like we ran out of steam just a little bit, because it's hard to just keep going. We actually eventually all got like sick or something towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
So we were all like dead by the last weekend.
Shauna and I actually gave each other COVID.
And then you guys gave it to me. And I went home with it. So that was a great send off gift for everybody. But,
yeah. 100%. Great way to wrap up the season. Great way.
Yeah. But it's important to look for other things. Look intrinsically to play for something, not so much the trophies. That might not always be a given in your season.
Yeah, and that's a life lesson, right? Just knowing what internally motivates you and how you can work for others around you than just yourself. So that's a great way to learn that early on. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I guess we got to transition here as well. I know last year was tough. Let's talk more about this year. You guys are obviously upperclassmen, leaders on this team. Going into this year, what is the energy like? How are things going? And more importantly, do you feel like you guys have a chance to make a run at the conference tournament this year?
Yeah. We actually had a very important team meeting today just to make sure that we're all having the same standards and the same goals, and making sure that we're all showing each other how much we really want it. And I think everyone's on the same page. Everyone's striving for the end goal here, and we're all going to play for each other. Like you said before, everyone's been putting in great work. I know from last year, we can learn a lot from what happened, and mentally it did mess a lot of people up, but now we've learned from that, and we're coming back this season even stronger, because now we know how to cope with hardships that come our way.
You see where I was going with this, so stay there. You come off a year where there's a lot of trauma here. There's the COVID stuff for the last couple of years. You get everything you worked for taken away, and just the everyday struggles of being a student athlete, which thousands of people are going to relate to on tonight's episode. What have you guys been doing individually and team-wise to cope with that? Because the people listening at home might be going, well, they look great now. They're doing awesome. But what are you guys doing on the mental health side to make sure you're mentally sharp to be able to play well physically?
Yeah, it definitely isn't easy. I'll talk about last year. Personally, being a pitcher as my position, I see it kind of more as people who are more perfectionists, and this sport is a game of failure. So that doesn't go well with your mindset at the end of the day when you are constantly missing a spot or you can't get the right spin, that eventually just kind of eats at you, and you have to be very strong, and you have to have grit to stay within yourself and not let it get to you. But I'll admit that it did get to me last year. Like, I couldn't get through a bullpen without almost feeling like that lump in my throat and having self-doubt that I can't get through it, and it took over my physicality of it. I was more than capable of pitching a perfect bullpen. Like, my body wasn't hurting. It was my mind controlling my outcome. And lucky for me, I came across a great group of people, and someone who helped me get perspective for my situation and made me more grateful and helped me see the lighter things rather than focusing all my energy on the negatives. I turned it into a positive light, and I've just been growing since then. So I think that's how, I'm pretty sure, 100% not think. That's definitely how I've gotten to this point. But
Luke, it sounds like leaning on your support group, man.
Leaning on your support group. Hey, just like negative things can snowball, positive things can too. So once you reverse that trend, the first little step you take in a positive direction, you just got to keep that momentum going. And it looks like you guys have. So that's awesome.
definitely.
Yeah, let's go to Shauna next. Shauna, obviously being a senior, being an upperclassman, going through all this stuff. Talk to me. Tell the listeners what's been going on with your position players, what's going on with your section, because I hate to say it, you guys are all one team, but it's separated. You know, your pitchers hang out with pitchers, infielders, outfielders, catchers. So tell me about that.
We actually, I'll talk a bit about the infield because they have new people, new freshmen coming in this year. Our outfield group was a bit more used to each other, so we had a bit more familiarity. But again, we're such a talented group of outfielders that there's still a little bit of like that competition. So you have to be able to balance how hard you're going to compete for your spot, which is always 100%, but also being able to respect your teammates, like the person that you're practicing with. You know, and that's tough during the season. You know, you're competing for spots, but you're also loving the teammates that you have. So really, we talked today a lot about communication, how important it is in order to make sure that your teammates are okay with how things are going, okay with you and the things that you say to them. You have to be able to check in. That's so big on your team.
Luke, it took us 7 episodes. We finally got someone to talk about the teammate stuff.
I know.
Luke, roll with this, man. This is what you had on our original script, man.
Yeah, 100%, dude. That's so I was a goalkeeper, and I don't know if you guys know soccer, but there's one goalkeeper on the field at a time, you know, for each team. So, and I did not crack that spot. I probably started like 8 times. I can't remember the exact number, 8 to 10 times throughout, you know, freshman to senior year. And it was mainly because the guy ahead of me did something dumb and got a red card, right? It wasn't because of like necessarily my ability. So, that was a daily battle for me, was just going out there and trying the hardest I can. And I struggle with it. I necessarily didn't treat it as a positive thing all the time. For me, I had a lot of thoughts of, well, I know I'm better than this guy. There's no, and shout out Jorgie, because he's an awesome guy, and, you know, he's a great goalkeeper. But back in the day, I just didn't have that perspective. I was very negative about it. And it took me until after college to really kind of settle it with myself that I was okay with it and what had happened. But yeah, that's tough. That's a tough battle.
Shauna, and now that you have the opportunity, Shauna, to play, and Jules and Ash, you guys do as well, what is your core group talking about maybe when an upperclassman isn't starting, or maybe your best friend is playing over you? How are those conversations going, and tips for athletes that are in that spot in their travel teams, high school or college, maybe even pro?
Yeah. We actually had a teammate today during our meeting. Sophia Chambers, great player, works hard every day.
Shout her out.
Yeah, no, second base. She's an infielder too, but she said you have to want to see your teammates do better, because I think someone else made a great point today that when you're doing better, your team is doing better. When someone else is doing better, you just by default are doing better because you're part of something bigger than just you, you know, number 3, you know, like 15. So yeah, it's hard to see someone when you feel like you have the talent to be out there over you. But at the same time, when your team is succeeding, like you have to give you that feeling up for something bigger.
Yeah. Your teammate's success is the team's success and your success. You know, you're having someone that's pushing you to be better. And it just goes back and forth. When they see you step up, then they're going to want to step up even further. So in return, it's just creating a better, bigger, stronger unit as a team. Just seeing it from that perspective.
Yeah. Even going off of that, I think the big word that I like to talk about is perspective. Like, it's so hard to just it's easy to be mad and angry at the situation you're in, the situation that your coaches may put you in, but try and change your perspective, even though it's so hard. but changing your perspective on different things and thinking about the team before yourself, that can really go such a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jules, yeah, go ahead, Luke.
Oh, sorry, Pat. I was just going to say, as a coach, it's a tough thing to manage, because putting together a team is not an easy decision, right? It's a puzzle that you got to put together with sometimes some pieces that don't necessarily fit perfectly. So having discussions with high school guys right now of, well, we got to have him start at left winger because then we got to move him to midfield, and then that's when you can come into the game. And so, like, having those kind of discussions with a high schooler is a lot different than a college kid, and then so on and so forth with the pros where they actually put the money to their mouth. It's like, it's tough. It's tough.
But how much does that feeling like push you to want to do so much better though? Like, I mean, if I'm sitting the bench like 3 games in a row, I want to find myself in the batting cages, like 100%. Getting a few extra hits off the bucket, like be throwing with a partner more often, doing better for myself, which in turn is beneficial to any team that I'm on.
Yeah, and you can ask any. It's my job to build up the guys that aren't doing well enough to start, to build up the areas where they're lacking in, to where they can potentially start. And so it really makes me feel proud and feel a sense of necessity and a sense of urgency whenever I'm coaching, of putting together the right lesson plans or putting together the right training sessions, I should say, for coaching, and really just doing it the best I can for those guys.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I don't know who told me this, but I don't know what they do in soccer, Luke, when they win. I don't know if they jump all around, but I know in baseball, someone told me that no matter if you're on the top, the middle, or the bottom of the dog pile, you're a part of that championship.
Yeah.
Also, someone told me shout out Nick Neighbor, I'm going to have to tag him in the post. He started over me as a sophomore. And someone said that, when you guys graduate, Neighbor and O'Malley are pretty darn close. So, and when we walk on the stage together, it's just bigger than what this is right now. And shout out Nicky. He's married now and he's having an amazing life. I have to reach out to Nick. Great guy. But that's the stuff. You dogpile together. You graduate together. You push each other together. That's it. Yeah. So for listeners tonight, you're better together and pushing each other than self-loathing alone. Because I know for a long time, I used to go back to my dorm room like, oh, come on, I'm better than Nick. I wasn't.
Yeah, just been out of shape. Yeah.
And then as a college coach, you think, if that guy's the backup, I know he's ready if something happens. So next man up stuff. All right. So I want to be conscious of time. Awesome stuff. But what I do want to talk about is, Luke, I'm going to be honest with you. How do we do a keep going moment with 3 people? I've been thinking about this all week.
I don't know, man.
So I'm going to get a little bit creative. So what we're going to do, Shauna, we'll start with you, then Jules, then Ashton. Give me why you're still playing this game. And if you could tell your younger self one thing, what would you tell?
I'm continue to play this game, and I'm going to finish out my career strong because I want little Shauna to know that we made it there and that we finished out all 4 years of like Division I softball, and I also do it because I know that it makes my parents, but specifically my father, like really proud to see me play and see me out there. There's just a special bond that I think softball girls might have with their like fathers playing catch with them in the yard. So to say to little Shauna, I would say, you did it,
Ashton's gonna tear up. Ashton's gonna tear up right there. I saw it.
I'm about to Kool-Aid man for the second straight week. I'm fired up. Jules, you're up.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I think my keep going moment, I think moments honestly is truthfully the people I surround myself with. They really aid myself on becoming a better person and making my heart happy, my brain smarter, and I love learning new things about my teammates, and I love talking to the people that I love most and getting inspiration from them. And so I think going based off of that, I don't know. I'm excited for what the season has to hold. And I mean, I got 1 year left. So something that I would tell my younger self, like what Shauna was saying, I'm doing it for my younger self, and I'm doing it for all the people that can't, honestly. And I think we all are very, very, what's the right word I'm looking for? We're all grateful that we have this opportunity to be able to come out here and play for things that maybe some other people don't have the opportunity to do.
Servant leadership. Jules, that's great. Ash, wrap us up.
My thought behind it, is play while I can, because one day I don't know when my last pitch is going to be. I don't know when my last time stepping on the field is going to be. And that's kind of like a harsh reality for me, like I've just never really wanted to give it up, but I know eventually I will. And that's something I'm going to have to come to terms with. But, little me, little Ashton.
It's always weird talking to your younger self, right?
Yeah.
No. Matthew McConaughey was talking about in one of his speeches about his hero being himself 10 years later. And I really seek truth in that, I'm nowhere where I want to be right now, but I've definitely noticed a huge growth from me versus when I first started, there are definitely times when I contemplated quitting, versus it was my coach telling me I had to run an extra sprint. And I'm like, nope, absolutely not. But I ended up doing it anyway because I'm like, you know what, I got it done. So the stubbornness in me and the drive in me has got me to this point, and the passion for it and the people that surrounds it, it builds the love for it. So, yeah.
I love it. No, I love it.
Honestly.
Yeah. Luke, I got one more thing, but anything to add on that?
Dude, that's amazing. So many good perspectives there. And that, like Pat said, it's weird talking to your younger self, but it's something to be proud of. You guys set out to do something and you did it and you're still doing it. And you guys should be proud of yourselves.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No doubt. And we are a athlete podcast. Our goal is to, shine the light on mental health and keep going, right? That's our thing. That's our mantra. That's what gets us going. That's our why. My younger self is just, I don't know what he's thinking because he got to be lost.
So true.
But I want you guys to help our listeners, if it's a student athlete, 9 to 5 workers, whoever's listening, how can guys and girls find you guys? And what are you doing outside of softball? Promote yourself a little bit. I love to hear what you guys are doing. So let's go back around. We'll start with Ashton, then go Jules, then Shauna.
Sure. So actually all three of us and another athletic member in the Stony Brook community, she's on the basketball team. We're all part of THO. It's called the Hidden Opponent. It's a mental awareness organization, actually. Victoria Garrick started it.
Shout out Victoria.
Yeah, so it's about breaking the stigma because I still feel that struggle, when I talked about how I was struggling last year where I could barely get through a bullpen, I could talk about it now to someone and I could still, even though I've grown from that, I can still feel that kind of build up in me. Or I tell myself, you know what, you're fine. Like you're going to have a better day tomorrow. Get over it, and I still have to kind of break that stigma with myself 100%. And acknowledging it's okay to talk about it. You should talk about it, and reach out to get help. Like it's only going to keep building on if you do hold it in. So I encourage for the people who are listening, even if it's a minor thing, that you're struggling with, get it off your chest and other people can help you get perspective and, help you see it in a brighter way rather than holding it in. Cause I know it gets really hard and it can feel isolating when you don't do that. So yeah, lean on your people, lean on your teammates, because everyone's got your back on that.
Yes. Love it.
And going off of that, like what Ashton was just saying, I think it's so amazing just talking to people on the same team, on different teams, different organizations, different college teams. We all go through very similar struggles. I mean, it could be very different struggles, could be very, like what I just said, very similar struggles, but we're all going through stuff. And I think it's so empowering to be with a group of young ladies that we can all talk about things that we're going through and help support each other. And then through that, also through THO and just even our Stony Brook community, and even further than that, I love talking about getting deeper inside what's going on in your head. How can we help? So I think that's something that through THO and through our Stony Brook community, we really love doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love being a part of THO because although I'm lucky enough to say that I've never had any serious mental health struggles, this outlet still gives me a chance to help those that may be going through some serious mental health struggles. So I love that I'm able to be a part of something that educates me in a way that is able to help teammates or even other athletes, even like non-athletes who are going through mental health struggles. Like all of this information applies to anyone at any time. Yeah. Do you want to give some hobbies or things that you guys are doing outside of softball?
Here we go, Luke. Cut the episode.
I know.
Oh goodness.
I mean, I like to travel. I love traveling. I love seeing new people,
that's good.
People, see new things. I think it's a great thing to immerse myself in different cultures, atmospheres, all that jazz. So that's
what we're all about in the Spanish classroom. We're all about that. We're all about that.
If you can consider that a hobby, I guess that's definitely one.
Yeah, I talked about like little arts and crafts, like painting, listening to music. Music is a huge thing for me. Yeah, it calms me, makes me feel better. I don't, like it's hard talking about hobbies when, from an athlete perspective, all you've ever known is school and your sport, it's like, what the hell am I going to do when I'm done playing the sport? How much time I'm going to have on my hands? And I'm like, oh, wait, you have to get a job now.
No. So it seems that way until you find a buddy to start a podcast and then your life changes.
Yeah, then it's good. Yeah, then you figured it out. Yeah.
That's the cheat code. Oh, my goodness. All right. Well, ladies, if you can't tell, and it's the third straight episode, let's keep it rolling. Anytime me and Luke start smiling at each other, we know we impact some lives today.
100%.
And that's why we're here. We'll get everybody's social media tags out. We'll make sure to get the hidden opponent involved because we love what they're doing. Shout out Kat Saladin. She came on episode 3, I believe.
Yeah, that's our THO leader.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're big fans of what THO is doing, and we're just trying to help out people the best we can. So, ladies, if we haven't thanked you already, we're blessed to know you guys. Good luck this springtime, and you guys are welcome back anytime with us.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it.
And thanks you
guys
for doing this and having an outlet for all the athletes to come on and speak their stories. I know a lot of people are really appreciative of it, and it wouldn't be, possible without you guys. So
definitely.
Good job.
We appreciate it. Go Wolfpack.
Yeah.
Okay, love it. Go see you all.
Thank you guys.
Later, guys. Peace. All right, Luke. So here's what I got.
Okay, hit me with it.
A lot of good vibes.
Yeah, dude.
That's one of those conversations where you go, wow, I missed a half of football for this. It was worth it.
100%, man. 100%. And people need to hear people playing their sport at the highest level talk about their struggles and how they came out on the other side. Right. Like,
oh man. Right.
Go ahead.
No, each of their stories were so unique, but at the end of the day, it was just leaning on their people, but also realizing that it was them the whole time, right? Like it had to start with them. It took some of them longer to get there, but at the end of the day, it was, I got to make sure I'm right for my people. I don't need my people to carry me. Yeah, there's days where they'll carry you. That's why they're there, but it starts with you. And that really resonated with me. Wow.
100%, man. 100%. Hey, well, you want to roll into our next segment?
Yeah, I'd love to, man. And that's our social media shout out of the day. This is a tough one because we got brother Bill coming on the pod in a couple weeks. And I know this is sensitive. We got to go with Hayden Hurst today. Cincinnati.
Sorry, brother Bill.
Yep. Sorry, brother Bill. Cincinnati Bengals tight end who we'll put the story in the show notes, but long story short, has had a battle with anxiety, battle with depression, actually tried to take his own life a couple of times. And you look up today on a Sunday between my 4th or 5th slice of pizza, and Hayden Hurst is just making play after play after play. And he's just looking around like, I'm here now.
Yeah.
I got the chills talking about it, man.
Dude, and he was actually a baseball star growing up. And so like having your main sport taken away from you, and then he's an athletic freak, right? It's one of the bare minimums of being in the NFL, but that doesn't make it mentally any easier. So having that first sport taken away from you, I'm sure was a trying time for him, and seeing how he's come out on the other side and making big plays in an AFC. AFC, right? Yeah.
AFC.
But seeing him make big plays today in the snow was just unreal. It was an awesome story to come full circle for him.
Completely agree. And I guess the message we're trying to get across, and this has been the theme of the whole episode, it's all right at some points to be low, like in the dark, super low. You're going to get out of it. Mm-hmm. The world is better with you here. That light is still here. And to see, I'm telling you, if you were to give me a Hayden Hurst highlight reel, I'd probably, like, it's been so awesome. And he got a couple new fans today. That's for sure. Yeah. I was touched. Luke, we'll wrap up tonight, but I do want to give you some opportunities for any shout outs in your world, anything going on mental health wise with you.
No, nothing crazy. Just going to keep chugging along on the no phones at 8:30. I may give the cold shower another shot. I don't know if I'm going to yet. I'm not fully committed to that, but I may.
Okay. Well, my head went to a completely different spot. So what I was thinking with the wiffle ball tournament slowly kicking the tires, I was going to drop some of the ladies we had tonight and put them in my 3, 4, 5 hole. So if you don't jump on that, I'm going to claim all 3 and put them on my team.
We'll flip a coin for it because they can't all go to one team. That's a juggernaut.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Maybe they'll start their own team. Who knows? I don't know.
That's true.
That's true. Go ahead. What I'm talking about is we're doing a charity wiffle ball tournament at the end of this spring, early summertime. We're going to have one in Chicago. We're going to have one in Knoxville, Tennessee. We're looking forward to giving you guys some more information. I got some food truck vendors I've been talking to, some sponsors. Things are starting to get real. And if you guys ever have ideas for us about charities or any events or anything of this nature, we're open to it. I know we have a virtual 5K and 10K coming up here.
Yeah, excited for that. I'm about to get back into – I'm hitting the gym right now with the soccer team. Whenever that's over, we'll probably be getting the running shoes on just a little bit more, but preparing for stuff like that. So excited to do that.
For sure. I think the 5K, 10K, we decided the virtual one was going to be for suicide awareness. And that takes me to the wrap-up tonight. Friend of the pod, Jackie, not only friend of the pod, but friend of Accountability Partners, just an overall immaculate vibes, just immaculate vibes overall. That's right. Her brother, her family, they're doing a suicide run for the Boston Marathon coming up, and they're raising money as a family. The brother and the family is running the race. So we're going to throw that link in our social media platforms and our show notes. If you guys have $1 or so, maybe $2, maybe you put $5 on Hayden Hurst and the Bengals earlier today and you cashed out some extra money, consider donating. It's an amazing family. It's an amazing cause. And I'll be donating myself and running that virtual event. Guys, I can't run the Boston Marathon. I'm sorry. Luke, can you run the Boston Marathon?
No, I'd be embarrassed out there, but I give it a hell of a shot. Okay.
Well, in all seriousness, shout out the Trip family. Shout out everything that they're doing. And that fires me up. But we'll do our own 5K and 10K for suicide awareness. We're going to donate. And Luke, if above all, man, keep going on.
Hey, you got to keep going. Thanks, Pat.
Love you, brother. Touch you.